Hey guys, and welcome back into yet another Chicago Cubs review. It's been a few days now. I believe it's been 4 days since my last video. Went on a little bit of a trip with some buddies out of state for a day, and missed that day for videos. And then yesterday with the doubleheader, I decided I was just going to do them both today. So it's a little bit of why there has been no videos the past few days. But right now, at this moment, we're going to review both games from yesterday. A day-night doubleheader against the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Cubs swept both games of the doubleheader. Yes, and going in with, we'll get into game one real quick. Going into game one, you looked at who was pitching, and you had Trevor Cahill on the mound. Not a guy you have a whole lot of confidence in, although this year he has had a fair bit of success out of the bullpen. But down in the minors, in the games he'd been starting for the AAA Iowa team, he'd really been struggling, really been getting banged around a bit. But when you know it, he comes up, and he does a great job for the Cubs. He did a really good job yesterday. Went 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. His ERA down to 2.74. Just really looked good. That sinker, when he keeps that sinker down, he induces a ton of ground balls. Has a nice little flip curve he throws in there. Has a changeup. Good action on that changeup as well. It really dips down. I thought he did a pretty good job. I mean, 2 walks through 5 innings. I mean, for him, you can always live at that. Not facing the most potent offense in the world. Ryan Braun wasn't in there. Luke Croy's been traded away. So that offense is not exactly anything special. It's not exactly the Cubs offense, but at the end of the day, he did do better than I expected, and I think that the Cubs, if you'd have told Joe Madden at the start of the game you're going to get 5 innings of 2-hit ball, no runs, hell yeah, you took that. He really did exceed my expectations and did a great job. And then from there, you go to another guy who's been pitching really well lately, last 2 or 3 times out, and that's Mike Montgomery. I think, the first few outings with the Cubs did not go well, and me included, really lost all confidence in him. Didn't really want to see him pitch anymore. And he's starting to settle in. I really like his curveball. It kind of reminds me of the Sean Marshall curve. Maybe not quite to the extent of the Marshall curve, but it's kind of similar. He went 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, no runs. ERA down to 2.43. And, him starting to pitch good could really be a big step for this team come October, because it gives you that third lefty. You have Chapman, you have Wood. If you have Montgomery, having a third lefty can't hurt. And he's been looking really good lately. I think he's starting to gain some confidence with Joe Madden. I think Joe Madden, potentially, if Wood continues to struggle the way he has lately and Montgomery continues to have success, I'm not saying Montgomery will become that second lefty out of the bullpen. I don't think that's ever going to happen this year unless Wood goes down with an injury. But I could see Montgomery starting to get more opportunities while Wood gets less opportunities. Because for a while there, almost every game, anytime you needed an out against a lefty and it wasn't in the 9th inning, Wood was coming in. And I think the way it's going right now, maybe you start splitting them 50-50 and there's not as big of a difference between the two. But it's really good to see him pitching well lately. Hector Rondon came in, redeemed himself, 1 inning, 1 strikeout, no runs. Coming off that one horrible performance against St. Louis, he redeemed himself today, looked good. Got it up to 96 with the fastball, so the velocity was good. Joe Smith came in, went 3rd of an inning, had 2 walks. Again, looked bad. Really have no confidence in this guy. He's old. He's past his prime, and it's not going well for him. But his success, in my opinion, doesn't really make too big of a difference. I mean, I wish we had Joe Nathan over Joe Smith, to be honest with you. But Joe Nathan was just signed by the Giants today, too, so hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. But either way, we got enough guys in this bullpen where Joe Smith doesn't make that big of a difference. His struggles don't make that big of a difference, I should say. Chapman came in, got the save, 2/3 of an inning. So the Cubs got a 4-0 win. Great job by the pitching. Some guys you wouldn't have expected, like I said, in Cahill and Montgomery, getting the job done through 7. And then offensively, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. Only 6 hits. Fowler had a hit. Bryan had a hit. Rizzo had 2 of the hits. So the top 3 in the order had 4 of the 6 hits. They really provided most of the offense. Luckily, we escaped the game without an injury. Coghlan and Russell collided out in short left field. Coghlan was down for a minute. On the replay, really didn't see where he got hurt. But when he was down, I was thinking maybe a broken collarbone or something. But he ended up being fine because he was really rolling around in pain. It looked pretty bad. But then he got up and seemed to be okay, so that's good news. Another thing I want to talk about is Hayward. Struggles continue. Yet another 0 for 4 performance for him. Averaged down to 225, and I sit here wondering, when is enough? But whatever. At the end of the day, Cubs win. Great job by Cahill. They win 4-0. Now on to Game 2. Game 2 was again controlled completely and totally by the pitching. Jason Hamill continued his second half dominance. 7 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. ZRA down to 2.75. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball in the second half. And it's just a joy to watch him pitch at this point. Got his 13th win. And you got to wonder, what are they going to do come, or what is Joe Madden, Theo Epstein, what are those guys going to do come postseason? I mean, no one goes into, especially the first series with 5 starters, but who are you taking out of the rotation? I mean, performance-wise, you'd say Lackey. Not that he's been bad, but out of the 5, he's been the least reliable. Are you going to go, is Joe Madden going to go up to John Lackey and tell him he ain't starting? He's coming out of the bullpen? John Lackey was brought here for the postseason, for big games, because he has that experience. I just don't see that happening. So maybe this last month and a half, it'll just play itself out. But at this point, I don't see who they're going to kick out of the rotation. But he did great again. Justin Grimm, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, no runs. He's really, the last 3-4 outings, really been looking good. Looking more like the Justin Grimm we saw last year, which is big. With Pedro Strop out, you want someone to step up, and Grimmer's doing that. Travis Wood, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, a run. His ERA is up over 3 now. I mean, I'm not concerned. I just think he's pitched a lot this year, and I think that, he could certainly use a week off or something. But last 3 or 4, maybe like 3 out of the last 4 outings, he's given up runs. He's been giving up some home runs, and it just looks really hittable right now, and he's just going through a phase, hopefully. Chapman came in, got 1 out, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, got another save. So he got 2 saves today. So, he only pitched combined an inning because it's 2/3 and then 1/3. But 2 appearances in one day. I would assume that Madden would love to not have to use him today. But we'll see. Good job by Chapman. Did what he usually does. Doesn't give up any hits. First walk as a Cub was today. Offensively, I really like the lineup better today. Why? Because you had Soler, Baez, Contreras all in there. I'm a big fan of all 3 of those guys. I think all 3 of them need to be in there more often together. Hayward didn't get the start. I liked seeing that. And exactly what I think they should do the rest of the year. Hayward can get starts. But in the big games come postseason, exactly what I think they should do is what they did in this game. Soler started, got 2, 3, 4 bats. Hayward came in at the end for defense. I mean, that's the roles that each of them serve right now to put to help the team be put in the best position that they could possibly be in. And Soler, he didn't, he had 2 at-bats, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. He had 4 bats, but 2 walks. He was 0 for 2. Still got on base twice. Baez had a 2-run homer, 2 hits. Contreras had 1 hit, a walk. So, those 3 are they're productive most of the time. Anytime any 3 of them are in there, it seems like something good happens. Baez has got so much pop. I love seeing him in there. I believe that should be more like what the lineup should be come postseason. Certain matchups could change things, but just your average run-of-the-mill game where there isn't a glaring, like, oh my God, Soler is 0 for 14 off this pitcher with 11 Ks or something. Unless you have a situation like that, I like when these 3 are in the lineup. And I would love to see more of it. I don't know how much we will see of it. Madden said Hayward's going to start most times, but having Soler in there for me is a much better situation to start. Hayward, I like coming in off the bench. And if you don't have a lead, he doesn't come in at all, unless you pinch hits or something. But, I'd rather have David Ross pinch hit. But, what else to talk about? Bryant's average is up to 290 now. He had 2 hits and a walk, reached base 3 times in the second game. It's nice to see. The power really has went down in the last month and a half, which is weird. With the hot months, you'd think the power would go up, but his average is up to 290. Guy that hits, potentially 40 home runs. I don't think he'll reach 40, but he'll 35, 36. For a guy like that to be hitting 290, he's just a stud. Rizzo's hitting 292, so those 2 both above 290. But not really else much to talk about, guys. They sweep both games of the doubleheader. The Brewers got a solo homer in the 9th. Otherwise, you would have had a day-night doubleheader with back-to-back shutouts in the day. So that would have been kind of cool to see, but it didn't happen. All in all, the Cubs go back to 32 games over 500, 75-43. Have a 12.5 game lead over the Cardinals. The Giants actually now have dropped out of the division lead against the Dodgers. So, who knows what's going on with that. I still think the Giants are going to be the biggest threat to the Cubs till further notice. But I really don't want to meet the Giants in that first wild card game. But I'll save that for another time. Cubs win. Both games of the doubleheader. That's why I said it twice. Cubs win and Cubs win. Got to hear the song twice today. That's always nice. And we're back today for another review of the Cubs-Brewers Game 3 today. So, thanks, guys. I'm out.